Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on page 31 of your student journal, and our objective for today is, today I will read and write numbers in expanded form. Okay, so our goal today is, today I will read and write numbers in expanded form. And this is our big word of the day, expanded form. Okay, so let's look at our vocabulary and see what we have here. Okay, our first word says a whole number. Sometimes we call these counting numbers. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could go on and on until we get to 100 and 101, 102, and we could even go on until we get past that. Then we have our base 10 blocks. And these are going to be really important today. So it's tools or drawings used to represent parts of a whole number. So we have something called our 100 block or 100 square. This is worth 100 because if I was to count all these tiny little squares, there would be 100 of them. Now this 100 block is hard to draw though. So sometimes we just draw a square. So we're going to be drawing a square instead of drawing this with all the lines. Make sure that you have this written in your journal, boys and girls. Okay, then we have something that's called the 10 rod or 10 stick. We usually call it a 10 rod. And if I count, there's 10 little tiny cubes in this. And again, this is hard to draw, so for a 10 rod, we draw a vertical straight line. And then we have something called 1 cube or 1 unit. It's just worth 1. Now, even though it looks like a square, we don't draw a square because then it will make us think it's 100. So for the 1 cube or unit, we draw a circle, a colored in circle. Okay, and we're going to be using this today, so this is very important. Okay, so what is expanded form? The word expand sometimes means to make something larger. We're not making the value of our numbers larger. We're just making them look longer by stretching them out. So this number, if it has 100 plus 10, because it has 100 block, which is worth 100, 1 10 rod. Now, it says plus 3, but there's not 3 of those. There's only 1. So if we're going to have 3, we'd have to add 2 more. So make sure you add 1, 2 more. So now there's 1, 2, 3 ones. So that is called expanded form, when we separate out our hundreds, our tens, and our ones with addition or plus signs in between them. Okay, standard form is the way in which numbers are usually written. So this is called standard form, 113, but 100 plus 10 plus 3 is called, expanded form. Okay, let's look at our next part. We have decompose. It means to take apart a number and separate the ones, tens, and hundreds. This is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to decompose our numbers. And then it gives us our place value chart. This is going to be really important today because I'm going to be drawing a place value chart for each thing. So our place value chart is very important. Okay, so boys and girls, I'm going to get started with my red pen. If you want to put down your pencil and watch me for a moment. Here is my first problem. Okay, and my first problem says, write the number 472 and model decomposing the hundreds, tens, and ones using base 10 blocks in a place value chart. Okay, so my number is 472. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to draw a place value chart. And I have my ones, my tens, and my hundreds. And here is my number, 472. So the 2 is in my ones place, and I have 2 of them. So I have 1, 2 of them. I have 2 ones. Okay, then I have how many tens do I have? Well, I have 7 tens. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I have 7 tens. And then I have how many hundreds? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, I should have drawn a bottom line there. I apologize for not having that line. Okay, so I drew everything I had using my base 10 blocks. Okay, so let's go back to this though. If I had 2 ones, how much is that worth? Well, that's 1, 2. So that's worth only 2. Now these are each worth 10, remember? They're 10 rods, so how much do I have? 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10. Well, if I add those up, let's do it again. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I have 70 in 10 rods. And then in hundreds, I have how many hundreds? I have 100, 100, 100, 100. But if I add them up, I have 100, 200, 300, I have 400. This is worth 400. So the way that I write this in expanded form, I already decomposed it. Now I just rewrite it with addition signs between it. And this is what we call expanded form. Okay, let's look at another one, boys and girls. Here is my next one. And it says, write the number 305 and model decomposing the hundreds, tens, and ones using base 10 blocks in a place value chart. Okay, so notice I'm going to start with my place value chart. And this time I won't forget to put the bottom. And I have ones, tens, and hundreds in my place value chart. Okay, so how many ones do I have? This is my ones in this column. I have 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many tens do I have? 0. So I'm not going to draw anything. How many hundreds do I have? 1, 2, 3. So that's decomposing my number. But what are these worth now? If these are worth ones, that's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't have any tens, so we can put a 0 there. And then how many hundreds do I have? Well, that's 100, that's 100, and that's 100. So if I add up those, I have 100, 200, 300. Okay, so we've decomposed our number. We've drawn it using base 10 blocks. Now let's write it in expanded form. We have 300 plus 0 plus 5. And that is our answer, boys and girls. Okay, let's try some of these together. So I'm going to put down my red pen and grab my green pen. And if you can join me, we're on page 32. And here's our first problem. It says, decompose the number and write it in expanded form. And our number is 247. Okay, so let's make our place value chart. And make sure you make a top and a bottom. And then we're going to cut it into 3 columns. So if you need to pause the video to draw your place value chart, you may. And this is our ones, our tens, and our hundreds. Okay, so let's look. How many ones do we have? Our ones is in this column. I have 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And how many tens do we have? 4. So let's make 4 10 rods. 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many hundreds? We have 2. So let's make 200 squares. Okay. So now what are these worth? What are these worth? Well, if these are each worth 1, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's worth 7. Now these are each worth 10 though. These are 10 rods. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40. Now these are each worth 100. So I have 100, 200. Okay, so we've decomposed our number. We've drawn it using base 10 blocks. Now let's write it as expanded form. So I have 200 plus 40 plus 7. And that is our answer, boys and girls. Okay, let's do one more together. Okay, this time our number is 550. So let's start with drawing our our place value chart. And let's put our top and our bottom. And then let's divide it into 3 columns. And our titles are ones place value, tens place value, and hundreds place value. Okay, so what do we have? We have 0 ones, so nothing's going to go here. We have 5 tens, so I have 1 10 rod, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have 5 hundreds, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we drew our picture, we decomposed it and drew it. Now let's see the value. Here I have nothing. Here these are worth 10, so I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, and these are worth 100, so I have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Okay, so now all we have to do is rewrite this using our addition signs. And that is expanded form. Okay, boys and girls, your teacher's going to have you do a couple more problems on your own. Have a great day.